Patrick McGrath, currently the CEO and co-founder of Moonlit Games, which is a mobile-first cross-platform development studio here in Berlin. We are focusing on mobile-first games, but of course, this is where the scale is at. So we are implementing at the tech layer a little bit of blockchain shenanigans, but in a way in which most users wouldn't know. My experience has been predominantly in gaming, so about 13, 14 years, been a while, and free-to-play mobile. So worked at great companies like NCSoft, EA, Zynga, Wooga, which is here in Berlin, Playtika. So been in some really great companies, some really awesome products. So my background is finance, so investment finance. And right around the financial crisis or after it, got into real estate investing. There was like quite a bit of wildness in the market and a lot of opportunities. Decided to also get my master's in finance, and through whatever grapevine, this, I should also note that this is all in Seattle. So also great point in time to be in Seattle as it's exploding and becoming this tech metropolis. But I get a call one day from this Korean company, NCSoft, and I've been a lifelong gamer, but I had not heard of them. And they're telling me, hey, have you ever thought about, using these financial talents in gaming? Like, we have a financial analyst position open. I was like, wow, I've never put together like I could go make a career in games. So went in, checked it out. They were very early and free to play games. So just the concept of, hold on a second, you give it away for free and you make more money doing that, like, you got to explain to me. And it was the same time as I was learning about behavioral economics. So it was just like all these things like, converging at a single point, got into the industry, loved every bit of it, like really understanding psychological profiles, user behavior, and making games. So it is just never looked back. So first, I've been very fortunate through my career. I've been on a couple billion-dollar products, helped them grow, help, from the even early design and development phases. And so being able to see success at that scale, which even in mobile games, you could have a billion-dollar product and it's like, okay, that's like pretty good, because you're not doing that per year. It's like the scale is so massive. And I don't think a lot of people realize how big it is. But one of the next challenges I wanted to do was create a studio that could then create these types of games that have mass user adoption, scale from a monetization or business perspective. And so kind of balancing that best of both worlds, like, hey, it's fun, and like people spend money because they're having fun. And so I was at a company creating a development studio here in Berlin. And last year, as just as things started to turn, especially from an economic standpoint, there's a lot of budget cuts. So it was certainly the vision and the people that I was getting on board, it was too good to let go. So me and my co-founder, Makita, who I also worked with at Wooga, which was purchased by Playtika and based here in Berlin, I brought him over to that studio to help build that. And then when the long-term vision started to change sides, or sides had differing visions, we decided to hop off, create our own studio, and really stick with the theme of how we can implement blockchain to the benefit of the player. And I'm not talking just, hey, you get to own it, or hey, come make money. Everything that we're doing is in really the experiential layer of games, because that's why people play games, is for these like really rich experiences. And for us, it was, how can this technology benefit and create new experiences where people are like, whoa, why do other games not do this? So we think we found a couple of those use cases, and this is why we're sticking with it. Now, as far as the, like deeper down, more like fundamental, like pillars of what we're about, of course, accessibility stays true. Again, why we're mobile first, why we're going free to play. It's easy. Don't listen to what they tell you. No, it's brutal, like every day. I think what's difficult is that you have to be an individual contributor. You have to be an operator. You have to be a lawyer. You have to be like, and all of these things that at minimum are, pretty substantial part-time job. You have to do them like no one else is there. No one's going to review that contract. Like, you have to do it, and you got to do it now. And even though you got to talk to your designer about these things that the developers are working on right now to validate or verify, like, hey, this is the right steps. Like, now all of a sudden there's a priority of like, hey, let's review this collab or partnership that's going live tomorrow. So all of a sudden, it's like this multi-dimensional daily problem of where your priorities lie. Luckily, being a product manager, like, this was my life for, better part of a decade, but it's just amplified, at least at companies, you could send a bulk of this work to a specialist, like, reviewing contracts, using a lot of ChatGPT to help out there, but it's not the same as like talking to a lawyer. At the same time, just making sure that we have the right people in the right places. We have, it's just like sounds very contradictory, but loose but firm structures. It is a startup. We don't need a ton of structure and process, but you need some, right? It can't just be wild. People have to understand what other people are doing, when, why, all of these aspects. I think beyond just tech, right? Like, of course, you could say, learn this technical skill and know this and that. And I think most great hiring managers, sure, like, you should know and have some technical ability, but more or less it's, are you a problem solver? Do you have like it, which for me is like drive, determination, creative problem solving, not just, I like to, solve mathematical problems in my break. And really the intangibles of, you're getting someone that's really bought in and wanting to really make an impact. And this goes beyond just a single discipline, right? If you start to understand others, I think this just 10x's your ability in whatever you're doing, whether you're an artist, like understanding how development from the engineering standpoint works, or how marketing works. This really helps you in your craft, and vice versa. If you're an engineer, understanding the problems that art is going through or game design is pretty fundamental to how you are, implementing new features or tech. Yeah, I think I think at the end of the day, really just having that drive, and it really comes down to why you want to be here. I don't think you can fake it, right? So your motivations have to really be aligned with what you want to do. Of course, you can get a career in tech anywhere. You got the right head on your shoulders and you just want to go to work and spend 8 hours a day and leave, and who cares? But for those that are successful, like really try and align what your internal motivations are with the job that you're really going to go spend a good portion of your life at, you know?